Adam coming at you from Streamlined, not High Level. My name's Adam, not Sean. And this is Hyros Handshake High Level. So obviously you know about Hyros. It's owned by Alex Becker, second most humble person on the entire internet, second of course to me. And he built this company called Hyros. We can head on over there and we'll see they do a bunch of attribution tracking magic, mostly applicable to like e-commerce and stuff, where you can actually see everything that happens throughout the entire funnel using like pixels and things of that sort. But when it comes to local businesses, you kind of want a little bit more analysis. And so, shameless plug, I've built that. And even if you're not going to buy my product, well, I understand. I'm just going to show you how it works. And maybe you build your own. Maybe you talk to me about it at any time. If you think, hey, this is fucking sick, there's a link below. Just click it. I promise you will not regret it. So, this is what we have. And this is kind of the Hyros part of it. So, of course, we have some charts up here. We can see engagement rate, like how many of the leads are engaged. We can see lead touch rate, like how many of the leads have actually been called. So 13%, not good. But what we can also see is everything about how this lead was actually created. Now, I've redacted the contact name, the location name, and the URL, just because obviously I know there's going to be some grifters out there. But what we can see is that this lead was created by an OAuth app. That's basically all of the data we have. And they've had no touches and no engagement. And the last message was an outbound SMS. So that doesn't count as a touch because it's automated. You wouldn't say that lead has been touched. They've just been fucking automatically texted, dude. So anyways, then we have things like engagement and touches that are actually shown here, like a summary of all that. And then we have how the lead was actually created. So we see paid social from Instagram and then a survey. And let me show you another client. This is another client whose information has also been redacted, but what we can see is that he's at a 2.81% win rate. This is agency-wide with an average time to win. So this is from when the contact was created to when the first opportunity was actually marked as won. So that's only 5 days. Pretty fucking good. Average win is $4,000, and then revenue per contact is 107. This is a crazy number to have because if you don't know this, you're just generating contacts. But once you realize this, you know that basically any lead cost under $107 is going to be profitable. If it's $106, obviously not much profit, but that's like generating leads too. This is counting like Instagram DMs and shit. We could filter them out, but that's counting that at the moment. Then we can see how they were created and all this stuff. So we can see paid social meta ads, and then we can actually see the name of the campaign and where they came from in Facebook. So they were created by a message, and we can see all this stuff, and then we can see who they were assigned to, all the touches, and a bunch of this shit. And then we can also share this to specific users and specific locations. So if we come up here and, well, of course you can filter by date. We have some presets like last 7 days. But what I wanted to show you is if we go to share this, we can select one of our locations and we can create a specific share link that's only going to be accessible by this client and where they can only see their own data. And then, of course, there's a bunch of different charts and shit. But the really cool part of this is with Hyros, you kind of only get like top level data, like maybe, you know, how many calls were received and how long they were, or like some basic stuff like that. But the other thing that we have here is a bunch of automations that are running in the background. And forgive me, this is running locally, so it has to compile. It's going to be a bit slow. But if we click on this configuration, we have a bunch of automations that are running in the background to figure out what the quality of our leads actually are. So we have call summaries. So this drops into the note of the contact so that we can actually see, like, you know, where they are instead of listening to a phone call back again. And then we have regular calculations that run in order to determine, in this case, contact status. So we can see new lead, hot lead, pending deal, scheduled, close one, other contact, abandoned. And we can tag contacts with this so that if we want to know like how many of our leads were actually qualified, we can literally just use this and have it mark every single. We can say, okay, we'll create a new status and we'll say marketing qualified, and we'll say a lead is MQL if they, let's say they are interested in the services and they set up an appointment. Of course, you want to be a little bit more specific with your prompt. You can see the ones above are like kind of, I have some examples in this one, and they're a little bit more fleshed out. But basically, you would just add that, and then every time a contact comes in, it would be evaluated, and then you could see what percent of your leads, especially what percent of your leads for each marketing channel, are actually qualified. And you could see if your contacts of those leads are actually calling them. So we could see we have the full contact summary as well. This like uses the full message history to create a summary. Contact value, so this estimates the value just to update your pipeline. And then task generation, so this can automatically generate tasks and append them to contacts. So in this case, like, if they get an objection on the phone, one of these kind of classic like bullshit ones that sometimes aren't bullshit, it'll create a task to get a quote, etc. So that's that. And then if we had added those tags, so in this case we actually have some of these tags on here. So if I come over, we can see that some of these have hot leads. So we'll go filters, and we'll filter where contact has tag hot lead, and then that will show us, actually we only have 3 contacts with this tag, but we can actually see that we've touched all of them. So in some cases we might see, and if I get rid of this filter, we can just hit clear all filters too, but if I get rid of this filter, we can see our engaged contacts without touch. Okay, I'm gonna filter, I won't filter anything, but what we can see is that 44% of our contacts, this is fucking nuts, dude. 44% of our contacts have engaged. So in this case, this person sent an Instagram message, IG. So this was the contact sent an inbound text, and the user never replied. This is crazy, dude. This literally like 9 texts. I mean, this has to be something else, but like basically this lead came in, texted the business, and then the business owner hasn't followed up. If your clients are doing this, they're gonna churn in like a month. They're gonna churn literally after 1 month, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why did they churn? They were getting so many leads. That's fucking why, dude. You have to tell them, hey, dipshit, if you're getting like 10 leads a day and they're all texting you, you have to fucking text them back. So anyways, that's basically the product I've built. I'm super excited about this. By the way, check this out, dude. We have dark mode and light mode and a system setting, so it'll just use whatever your computer is set to. But yeah, that's what I've been working on for the past month. I have a shit ton of apps on HighLevel, and this is finally what it's all culminated in. I really think this is going to help a bunch of agencies. I used to run an agency, and I always found client churn so painful, especially because I didn't have these numbers, and I knew that if my clients were doing a better job, like if they were calling all of their leads multiple times, in this case, they picked up the call, right? In this case, they've texted, but they've never called. Text, no call. Here, this is decent. They've texted 3 times, called twice. They've talked on the phone for like 5 minutes. But it's like, okay, if you actually want to make sure your clients are getting the best results possible and not churning and actually paying you like 10 grand each, you need to know what's going on behind the scenes. So anyways, that's the impetus for me building this app. And yeah, I'm super excited to get this out. This is the first video of many. Every single follow-up video for the rest of my entire fucking life. That's an exaggeration. Many of my following videos are going to be on this topic, on this app, and yeah, I'm going to get as many users as possible. So anyways, thank you for watching. Click the link below. Again, click that link. I mean, you will not regret it. I promise you. There's some fun stuff on there. So anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.